Hello racing fans, and a warm welcome to our Gallop TV preview show for Friday the 26th of January, where we race as always in Gqeberha at Fairview. We're on the turf track. It's one day, we'll call it 24 hours before the main event on Saturday, which is the World Sports Betting Met. But hopefully Grant Paddock can help us make a profit on the day, so we'll have enough to invest in those huge pools, world pools they call it, on Saturday. What's happening on Friday? Well, there's 8 races carded, and just chatting to Grant off air, there's some quality about the Breeders' Guineas Plate, which is race number 4. We got the Lakeside Handicap race 5. Race 6 is the Fairview Mile, and race number 7 is the Fairview Merchants. So there is some nice racing to look forward to on this Friday. Let's welcome our analyst, Grant Paddock, and he tells me that the weather is absolutely fine in Gqeberha.
Morning, D's, morning, punters. Yeah, weather very good down this side. Thank you very much for a change. The trainers have had some good conditions to work horses in and prepare them for today. Very good card tomorrow, and hopefully we can send the punters in the right direction.
Please, let's get things started off on Friday with a bang, and into Saturday we go. Race number 1 will be the start of the bipod. It is a juvenile plate for fillies over 1,000 meters. Few unknowns in the race, but I'll give you the betting as always, single figures as a guide. Number 3 is at 7-2, number 4 at 8-1. We could start off with an odds-on shot here. We'll see Grant's comments about number 5, Happy Holly, at 7-10, and then horse number 9 is at 7-1. Is it away we go? Let's bank it in the first, or are you nervous about this first leg?
Dee's a little bit nervous. I've gone 2 horses in the bipod here, to be very honest with you. I'll go through what I've heard. A lot of talk for the 3-horse Fantasy Girl from the Graveyard. Very well-bred filly. Alan knows the family well. He did train Winter Fantasy. Lovely filly. He has got a line through Happy Holly with that horse Splice, the main brace, who beat Happy Holly. And just watch the betting market. If the money comes for the 3, it's got to be a massive runner. Happy Holly, very good first run. It did have the apprentice claim, which she doesn't have now, so she's actually 2.5 kgs a bit worse off, but she was very green and just unlucky not to get up last time out. There's also talk for the 7-horse Million Reasons from the Mitchley Yard. It's doing very good work back home with Raymond Danielson up. And then obviously the race horses, Magical River and Serendipitous. But bipod for me, the 3 and the 5. Punters need to watch the markets on the 3. If the money comes, I think they just need to follow.
Okay, we hear you, Grant, because you're not giving us, when you put your head down, we go for it. But race number 1, erring on the side of caution because of the talk on the ground, which Grant is very good with down in Gqeberha. Race number 1, horse number 3, Fantasy Girl. Watch the betting on that. So 2 horses in the bipod, as he mentions, 3 and 5, and you should be safe. Place accumulator begins in race number 2, 1,300 hours. Note the time, 1 o'clock sharp. It's an open maiden over 1,600 meters. Horses in single figures here, Grant. Number 2 at 4-1, number 3 at 7-2, number 4 at 7-2, 5 is at 9-2, and 6 is at 7-1. It looks like a very tricky start to this place accumulator, and the betting says it all. They're betting 7-2 the field, and it's quite tight on top of the betting board.
Yeah, D's, I think it's more 5-1 the field this race. Very, very shallow maiden, I must be very honest with you. Mentality, let's start off with Mentality Monster, Johannesburg form, first run for the Mitchley Yard. They do tend to get them ready first time out. I had to have a chat to Kelly, and she said, not a very big horse, quite a small horse, but they'll know a bit more after Friday. But because of the quality of the field, he's got to have an each-way chance. My personal selection, Master of Defence, got to be a decent-sized runner here. Unfortunately, he's a bleeder, so there's no confidence with that. And then the likes of Regazo Grande, Fearless Badger, and a little bit of a dark horse is number 8, Shmunyo. I think he's coming on the right way. I think he'll run into the money as well. Place accumulators, 2 and 3, and bipods, the 2 and the 3. Tricky kind of a maiden race. D's not a race to be getting involved in for a punt.
Yeah, for a punt. What about a trifecta quartet horse? Will I be way off the mark with a horse like Ballast First Wave, number 9?
Yeah, no, you won't be way off the mark. I think the mile might catch her out. When I listened to Gavin's pre-race talk, and he was hoping to get this horse to the front, so because he's very one pace. I think he's a bit better over the 2,000 meters. 1,600 they might outsprint him, but I don't think there's many that can outsprint anybody here, to be very honest with you. He can go in, he's a quartet kind of a horse, there's no doubt he'll probably earn a minor check.
Grant, if I start talking about a 37-run maiden, then you know what we're dealing with in this field, because as you mentioned, it should be 5-1 the field, not 7-2.
Yeah, D's 100%. I don't know what percentages they're betting laying on there, but this should be 5-1 the field without a doubt.
Well, it sounds like a quartet race here. You can have a go. You can have a go. If you like a horse, have a go. You may just catch the right horse at the right time, but it looks like a trifecta quartet race and survival in the place accumulator and the bipod. The big one, the pick 6, starts off in race number 3, Grant. It's over 1,400 meters, a merit rated 74 handicap. The betting here, single figures, number 3 at 7-1, number 4 is at 11-2, number 6 at 8-1. Then we go on to number 7 at 33-10, number 8 at 3-1, and 9 at 8-1. There's some form to work around here. I like the look of this race.
Yeah, nice race, Dees. Nice race. Up and coming 3-year-old in Ubisika. He's really done nothing wrong. He's improving all the time. He did get a couple of merit rating points for his last win. Draw 1, Kamala up. I think he won a very good race last time out, and he's definitely on the up. And then from the other end of the scale, the 7-year-old Path of Choice, who looks like he's got a new lease of life. He's really holding solid form at the moment. Absolutely trotted up last time out, but that was on the poly. He's back on the grass. He has done well on the grass before. He went down a short head to Storm Commander. Nothing wrong with that. I do prefer Ubisika to beat Path of Choice. And then you got the likes of Pembroke and Raising Quinn. Raising Quinn, a very nice filly out of the Jean Nel yard. Unfortunately drawn out a little bit wide at 10, but she's definitely going to be there too. Pick six horses, you're probably going to need the 3, the 4, the 7, and the 8. And I see there's been money for this horse, the 9, Timbavati River. So you'll probably have to add that in. So you're going to need 5 in the pick 60s.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned number 9, because I was going to quiz you about that. But the one more runner I have to talk about. What's the reason for leaving out number 6? Is it the draw, or what's the reason? Because it's on the turf?
Poly horse D's. All its form has been on the poly, nothing on the grass. And Richard's jumped off and got onto Path of Choice. So they're probably of the opinion that it's definitely better on the poly.
So we're saying 5 horses in the pick 6 there, in numerical order: 3, 4, 7, 8, 9.
3, 4, 5, 7, 8.
3, 4, 5.
3, 4, 5. Sorry, D. Sorry. We're looking at 3, 4, 7, 8, 9. 3, 4, 7, 8, 9.
3, 4, 7. I'm just jotting down some numbers in this pick 6. Maybe I can read it out at the end of the show if it's worth a go. 3, 4, 7, 8, 9 in the first leg of the pick 6. And with 12 runners, Grant has managed to reduce that to 5, and that could be a good result. Race 4 will be the start of these feature races at Fairview. It's the Breeders' Guineas Plate. It's a fillies race, of course, and it's over 1,400 meters. And let's go into the betting. And there's one horse that has separated itself from the entire field at the top of the betting boards. 4.5 to 10, number 1, Luna Halo. Number 2 at 9-2. Number 3 at 5-1. And then you can pretty much name your price with the balance. They're all in double figures. First up, I want you to give me a mark out of 10 for number 1, if that is your first choice.
10 D's, 10. Very big runner. Very difficult to beat. 4.5 to 10. It's going to be the base of most people's multiples on the day. The banker in everything. She's a smart filly. Unlucky to get beaten last time out against Old. I must tell you, the saddle slipped and Richard let her go a little bit early. The horse in front of him stopped quite early. Back a furlong. Back against her own age. Back against her own sex. Very, very, very hard horse to beat. And banker in everything, D's.
What is the exacta play then, if you want to suggest one for the guys? The guys want to play a straight line exacta here, Grant.
1 from 2. Idita, the second choice there, won very well last time out. She is a smart filly. She really is. I've got no concern back on the grass with her. But she'll probably run second to Luna Halo.
Well, I'm just thinking about something as you were chatting about Luna Halo. If you are a See It Again fan, and I'll ask Grant at the end of the show for his selection in this year's World Sports Betting Cape Town Met, and maybe if he likes something else. But if you are a See It Again fan, and if you're going for that horse who really looks the part, then why not get around even money? That's what it works out to if you take Luna Halo into See It Again, because See It Again is very short, 4.5 to 10, and this horse is 4.5 to 10. That could be the play of the weekend, buying some cash.
I'm sure a lot of the professional punters will be looking at that. They are definitely two standouts on the weekend.
Well, that is it. That is something for you to think about, for you, the value racing fan, to double your money at even money. Jackpot 2 begins in race number 5, Grant, and it's a lakeside handicap. It's over 2,400 meters, so some of the stayers that are in Gqeberha are out for this race because it's a fair stake. It's 109,000. Let's round it off to 110,000 for the winner. Number 1 is at 3 to 1. Number 3 is at 9 to 2. 5 is at 8 to 1. 6 is at 7 to 2. And then we got the visitor from the Snake stable called Cosmic Event that they put the handcuffs on, 22 to 10. What you make of the visitor, Grant? I think let's start off from there before we touch on the locals.
Listen, he's a nice horse. He came here. He's previously he ran in the Derby and he got beaten 3.75. He was actually favoured that day in the Derby and he got quite soundly beaten. This was Quasimodo was well in front of him. And listen, it's not clear cut for him. Of the Smith horses, Jaegermoon and Peace in Our World look like the right two there. Those are the two that aren't going to have any problems with the 2400. This horse, Bournemouth, the 2-4 on grass, he's absolutely deadly. Massive runner. I think he was the wrong price. He's my value bet on the day. I think he opened up like 6 to 1. I don't know where he's trading now, but a very big runner. You can go back to that Pinnacle runner when he over 2-4, he absolutely trotted up, beat Castletown by 7 lengths. He's up in class, there's no doubt, but he's a horse that's got a bright future ahead of him, especially over the staying trips. And I've gone for Bournemouth to beat Quasimodo and Cosmic Event.
Well, that is a good selection from you. Bournemouth to beat Quasimodo. And, you are actually playing to beat number 7, Cosmic Event. So playing against the grain when it comes to the horse on top of the betting boards. The pick 6-wise, Grant, I'm just jotting down some numbers. How many horses will you suggest here in the pick 6?
Those 3 that I mentioned, but you also need to include Jaegermoon and Peace in Our World, the 4 and the 5. I'm not convinced the one horse stays. Heathcliff is going to need another run, and I don't think Zatara Magic will get a 2400. So pick 6 numbers 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we're going with another 5 runners there. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 in the pick 6. Race number 6 is the Fairview Mile. It's over 1,600 meters. And let's go into the betting. Straight into it, Grant. Number 1 at 6 to 1. Number 2 at 8 to 1. Then we got a 9 to 2 shot in horse number 4. Then number 6, Sakdev, the snake runner, at 33 to 10. 7 at 6 to 1. And that is it, Grant. No, we got a 6 to 1 shot in number 13, Global Alley. Yeah, this race, I think, if you can try and get through with the minimum spend here, you'll be a winner because the tickets will be well spread in the pick 6 in this race.
Yeah, these definitely will be well spread. There's a handful of horses that can win this race, there's no doubt. A very, very competitive race. This horse Perfection won an absolute stunning race last time out on the poly. I'm just not 100% sure if he's a poly horse or a grass horse. He has won 2 from 7 on the turf with 2 seconds, a third and a 4, so it shouldn't be a problem. He's a really good horse and he's found some solid form, especially over the mile. Port Louis dropped the ball last time out, but he's got one draw, 60 and a half on his back. He needs to turn that last run around. Bush Tracker doesn't know how to run a bad race. Then you get the 2 travelers, Satch Dev and Lightspeed. 7-year-old and a 4-year-old. They're both probably going to have to go into the pick six. I don't know these Cape form lines. Cherry Anu's another horse. And then the two at the bottom of the weights, Global Alley and Brendan James, they're probably going to have to go into the pick six as well. These bottom weights, sometimes they can pop up, especially from decent draws. And Brendan James has got the 2 draw with 52 kilos. So definitely a tricky race, these. Unfortunately, the pick six, we're going to have to put a couple of horses in here to get through.
Well, if Candice Bass-Robinson thinks that Sugar Mountain is, good enough to stand his ground in a race like the Cape Town Met, and for Sector to have beaten him, and won well at that penultimate start, I mean, guys will look at that, Grant, and say, maybe Justin has found the right race for this horse, although he's taking on some hard-knocking local individuals.
Yeah, these 7-year-olds, you never know. Then they've got to travel on the road, and you never know how they'll pull up. His last run, he not really much of a decent. Well, he ran 400 to finish in 22 seconds with Louis up carrying 56.5. He's actually my first choice. I'm not going to put you off him, D. Yeah. But it's not a race to have a punt. It's definitely a race that you're going to have to go wide in the pick six, because you can get a result here. There's no doubt.
And then you spoke about dropping the ball with number 1. What about number 9, Cherry Anu? Are you off him now that he's had 2 bad runs?
No, you don't go off Cherry Anu. He's a very, very decent horse. He's definitely in my pick six. Unfortunately, he's drawn out wide. Back to the mile might be beneficial to him. Very, very good horse. You can't go off. That's why I said we're going to need a couple of horses here. There's no doubt. 8 horses in my pick six here. So very, very difficult race.
What's those numbers again for the pick six, Grant? I'll just write them down.
4, 6, 7, 9, and 13, 14.
1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 9, 13, 14. Have I got that correct?
That's 100% these.
Okay, let's move along to the next race, and it's race number 7. It's the Fairview Merchants, and it's over 1,200 meters. Now, this race, number 1, Cruise Control, is at 4-1. 2, Kaya's Hope is at 2-1. 3 at 5-1. 6 at 8-1. 7 at 11-2, and it's double figures the balance. Grant, I don't want to complicate things for our valued racing fans out there, but if you do the math with, Cruise Control and Kaya's Hope with a lot of other runners in the race, these other horses are far better off at the weights.
Yeah, definitely. Cruise Control can't run in front of Kaya's Hope. 1,200 meters, 62 on its back. I think there's a turnover of 4 kilograms to Kaya's Hope. Very good fielders. I must be honest with you. Some very nice horses here. I have narrowed it down. I've actually only gone 2 horses in the pick six here. I've gone Kaya's Hope and Prince of Fire. Prince of Fire, a massive runner. Last time out on the poly at the 400, he was 11 lengths off him. He got beaten 2.5, and he finished in 22.1. He is definitely better on the grass. Even though he won the Consolation Poly Challenge, he is better on grass. His gallops have been very, very good going into this race. And I make the race between the 2 and the 3. After that, if the people want to go wider, a horse like Slim Yanni, he's done nothing wrong. Safe return, a very good last run. But I think this race is between the 2 and the 3.
I mentioned some weight turnarounds, Grant, and I said I don't want to complicate things. If you have a look at Richard Foury's mount, number 7, Inherit the Wind, and just on a line through Kaya's Hope, I just worked it out. It's 7 kgs. 7 kgs is a lot of weight, Grant, to turn around.
Yes, a lot of weight to turn around. Unfortunately, this horse Inherit the Rain seems to be better on the poly. His grass runs haven't been that flash, especially of late. So he's definitely better on the poly, and he's going to have to run in front of a horse like Kaya's Hope on the grass.
And then must we just keep an eye on the betting for number 4, Fire Alley, first run for jockeys here. But a horse that when he started off his career, they had very high hopes for him, the backyard.
Yeah, definitely. He is a horse you need to watch the betting. I haven't spoken to Jacques, unfortunately, but that run, 0.3 to Royal Aussie, is a very good run. I know he's a horse in Cape Town that used to go up front. They used him up a lot there. Jacques' horses normally take 1 or 2 runs before they hit the board running. So I'll just have a look at that one. The horses that are in form and have been running well, definitely the 2 and the 3 Ds, and that's all I'm going to put in the pick six, the 2 and the 3.
Yeah, I think you've been a big help here if we're going to follow your numbers with 2 and 3, because I thought it may just be a bit more complicated. And you picked out the right form line for Fire Alley. I mean, that run behind Royal Aussie over 1,400 meters with pace early was a great run. So keep an eye on the betting on number 4, Fire Alley. But we're going to go with Grant. He's our man down in Fairview, whether it's on the poly track or the turf. And he's usually on the mark or never far off. 2 and 3, race number 7, and I've jotted those numbers down. So whilst Grant is going to take some time to point us in the right direction for race number 8, I'm going to try and work out this pick 6 perm, because race number 8, if there ever was a nightmare, and there have been some crazy results in the last race in Fairview, whether we're on the poly track or the turf. But this race, if you get this quartet, I think it's percentage play in this quartet, personally. Merit rated 76 handicap, 1,200 meters. This is the way they're betting, Grant, before I hand you the baton. Number 1 at 11 to 2. 3 is at 8 to 1. Sorry, 2 at 8 to 1. 4 at 5 to 1. 5 is at 6 to 1, Grant. Then we go on to horse number 12 at 11 to 2. And that is it. Those are the only runners in single figures. And are you convinced with any of them? Do you have a quartet for us? Can you narrow things down whilst I try and work out the cost of this pick 6?
All right, Dees, you do that, and I'll carry on with the race. My first choice, definitely, this horse number 5, Benelong Point. I'm glad to see him back on the grass. He had one run on grass in PE, which he won well. Since then, he's been holding his form very, very well, and I just think that change back to the grass, back to 1,200, is going to definitely be in his favour. I've tipped him first. Fiery Duke doesn't know how to run a bad race, and he's always there and thereabouts. He's definitely going to be in the money as well. Those two probably going to be my top 2, and then it gets an absolute minefield. The one horse Saturn Moon, Alan says she works very, very well. Probably looking for a bit further, but in a race like this, Alan likes to bring them out first time out, nice and fresh, and with Richard up, probably going to be running on strongly late. You run into the back end of quartets. A horse like Torero, 1,200 grass, has to go in. And then we go down to the bottom where Joyous Jubilee, Iron Tail ran a very good race last time out. Just a bit concerned with that second run after a rest. Lady Renee, she won a nice race last time out in a weaker field though, but the way she won and from where she came, she's got to be a runner. And then obviously Persistence, he's got to go in as well. So difficult field. I've gone for the 4 and the 5. I'll give you a quartet that I've worked out. 2 roving bankers, the 4 and the 5, with the following numbers: 1, 3, 10, 11, 12, and 14. That should get you about 360 rand. You can get a percentage of that. You're going to get a payout here, Dees. There's no doubt about it. But as I say, I've made it between the 4 and the 5.
Okay, can I add your 2 numbers to your horses that are roving and call that our horses for the pick 6? So it'll be 1, 3, 4, 5, 10, 11, 12, and 14. Will I be correct in doing that?
100% correct, Dees.
Okay, 1, 3, 4, 5, 10, 11, 12, and 14. I'll tell you what, before we go to Grant's suggested bet, let me just read out this pick 6 because I've already worked things out here. So, beside coming into the last race, it's costing 400 Rand. So we're just going to multiply that by 2, 4, 6, and 8, which gives us 3,200, which means 320 Rand. These are the numbers. A suggested pick 6 that we just did whilst we went through each race. First leg, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9. By banker 1. By 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Then wide by 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 9, 13 and 14, by 2 and 3. I think that's a big help there in race number 7. And then the last race, like many, hoping to catch the quartet. Grant's suggested quartet, 4 and 5 roving by 1, 3, 10, 11, 12, and 14. But the numbers for the pick 6 will be 1, 3, 4, 5, 10, 11, 12, and 14, giving you a cost of 320 Rand for 10% or 160 Rand for 5%. And I think if that banker arrives, we get a few rough results, we could be in the pound seats. Over to you, Grant, your suggested bet.
All right, Dee, thank you very much. My best bet, race 4, number 1, Luna Halo. My value bet, race 5, number 6, Bournemouth. And my suggested bets, the bipod goes as follows. We start in leg 1 with 3 and 5, by 2 and 3, by 3, 7 and 8, by banker 1, by banker 6, by 1, 2, 4, 6 and 7 for 60 Rand.
Okay, I'm not going to let you off the hook, as I mentioned to our valued racing fans out there, whilst you do a fantastic job pointing us in the direction that you think we can make some cash at Fairview. What's happening on Saturday is the big race meeting, Grant, and I'm sure you'll be glued to your television set and playing whatever bets you like, following the racing, following the action like all of us around the country and around the world. But when it comes to the main race, what's your thoughts?
These, to be very honest with you, I thought it was a very disappointing field for a Met. See it again's got the race at his absolute mercy. You can see the betting 4 to 10. It's going to be a big knock if this horse gets beaten. I must be very honest with you. The horses to chase him home, Mucho Dinero, Royal Aussie and Pacaya, the Snaith horses. But I think May should have be very confident going into this race with the quality of the field. Also on the day, I really do like this horse in race 1, Lion Rampart. I think he's a very, very decent 2-year-old from the Marshall Yard. Richard spoke very highly of him, and I think he'll win the first as well. So those are my 2 plays on the day.
2 plays on the day, and as Grant mentioned, that See It Again will be his banker, hoping to bag some money in race number 1. And if he gets that right, then it'll possibly be a free ride for the rest of the day, because I know our Grant plays, get the cash, invest it and try and make a profit. Grant, as always, thanks for your valuable time. Our racing fans and the Gallop TV team appreciate it week in and week out. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Deez, and good luck to the punters this weekend. Goodbye.
Thanks to Grant Paddock, thanks to the Gallop TV team, to you, the valued racing fan. I hope you have a blast, make a huge profit. Find all the winners, and it turns out to be a very successful day for you on this Friday, the 26th of January, where we race at Fairview, some feature races on the card with an 8-race program. And from myself, Deez Dynan, until we meet again, you take care. Salani Kahle.